All right, welcome again, everyone. And we do have some slides that have some structure to the meeting. And what is this meeting? This is the AI in Education subgroup meetup. This subgroup is on custom bots, GPTs. This is our third meeting so far. And if you're not familiar with the AI in Education group, maybe you landed here and don't know a lot about the main group, this is indeed a subgroup of um, the AI in Education Google group. I'm sending you an extra link of that. So far, we have a collaborative document as well, so I'm just going to throw a bunch of links in there, but they're all in the slides. And I've reorganized it. If you've been there before, I've restructured it a bit more to make it easier to read. And that's our main place for notes and guides, including some from our own participants. I know Laura's with us and she created a guide for creating chatbots, and there's a couple things there. But again, for today's meeting, we have some slides and we also have special notes just for today. So a million links. Okay, great, thanks. All right. But just stay with me and we're gonna come back to pretty much everything. And this group is like the subgroups are to share our ideas, to share our different experiences. And also you're very welcome if you're not quite sure what custom bus GPTs are and this is something new, but you're interested in it. From the registration survey results that you all answered, the main votes were for main room. So I think we're going to stay in the main room and just discuss together. And the question about which platforms to use, great majority of you were interested in OpenAI, and I'll show you some things with OpenAI. We can focus more on that, but also some other platforms showed up for sure. And in terms of levels, and this I think is really important for us to keep in mind as a subgroup together. Some of you are beginners and said you're here to learn. Some of you are more experienced and more advanced. So I hope, yes, this is a collaborative space to share and learn together. And yes, welcome again. Please do keep introducing yourself in the chat if you haven't yet. Great to see everybody. And let's jump into our icebreaker. We have a QR code, and if it's easier for you, I'm also gonna send you on the chat right here. Okay, it's also on my background. I'll give you a moment on the Mentimeter. Very welcome. All right, are we ready for the icebreaker? Sounds good. And yeah, please feel free to talk with me, Mike, Chad, very interactive.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Good. So let's check it out. Are there still people coming in the waiting room? Okay. Yes, there we go. So I'm also going to okay. So this is our little icebreaker, and I threw in a bit of trivia. I know I like workshops when there's a bit of trivia, but again, this is for every level, wherever you're at, and I'm learning all this with you. Okay. And if anyone is having trouble accessing, please let me know. And yeah, we are about half the number that registered, so maybe that's the number we have. Hi, Peg. Okay. Icebreaker. Where are you logging in from today? Can you pin it on the map? Sorry for the size of the map. As big as I can make it.
I think I put myself somewhere in East Podunk, Ohio. I meant
Oh, wow.
Chicago. I
That's
meant Chicago.
Chicago. What neighborhood is Chicago? Is it like, no, that's great. Yes,
It always
I
feels
know
like
this map.
a small geography test. Like, can I actually identify where I live when there aren't like really clear state borders and things like that?
Yes, yes.
I've seen some of the on YouTube and whatnot. The Jordan Klepper does that with folks.
Like, where's this country? Or just where are you even? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Can you please identify on the map Canada?
We do, and I think we have Canada. I'm sorry, I know we have Canada. Yes. Now that you mention it. Ah, who's that person from the shore of James Bay? Yeah, this is Icebreaker, so please speak up if you want to identify yourself or add something about your location. I also see Europe represented, Egypt. I'm actually in Europe now, so it's a little later in the day. So Central European time zone. We got Egypt too, yes. Great. And it is, yes, we are an educational group. So the challenge, the geographical challenge is thrown in. Cool. Okay. Imagine you had a custom AI assistant who can speak like a character from your favorite childhood TV show or movie. Who would it be? Right. And the link again in case anyone lost. Whoa. Ah, we got more than one Wonder Woman, Bionic Woman, Superman, plenty superheroes, and Spider-Man.
Shout out to the original series, Star Trek,
Star Trek.
because
I
we
don't know. I
got some.
feel like Kirk would mostly be mansplaining to you about what you should be doing instead.
Yeah, but he'd be okay doing that.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Not everybody can do that, but he could do that because he's him.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
I guess this is a question about personality too, right? What kind of personality you like interacting with? Pedagogical. And honestly, there's some that I don't know, like Grover. I don't know who Grover is, or Ren Hook. Anyone wants to share more in the chat or microphone, or Captain Nyota Uhura. Oh, I'm gonna look these up. Is that Fod Beeblebrox? Is that a real person, or is that made up?
I mean, it's a real fictional person. That's
Is there
from
a
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. And I did. Okay,
He has two
thank you.
heads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So why I'm asking this question, maybe just to ask you something weird, or maybe it has something to do with, yes, our discussion for today. And here is, oh, Again, sorry, too many things open. Okay. So, yes. Okay. There we go. Oh, I was in the wrong window. Well, have you set up custom bots, GPTs in any platform? Where are you at? I believe we have across the board, but please share with us. Yes, many, yes, at least one. No. What is a custom bot GPT? Oh, interesting. I like Ed's response. Yes, and often, and I'd love us to talk about students creating this, because I haven't heard that talked about very much in the discussion out there. Great. Okay, many of you at no. No one at what's a custom bot GPT so far. And some of you all the way at the yes, many. All right, so if you'd like to play a short game, I have a bit of trivia. This is for maybe more the medium users, medium advanced, those with medium advanced experience. What year did OpenAI, since most of you were interested in OpenAI, introduce the ability to make and use custom GPTs? 22, 23, 24. No. And is it showing you the right answer after you click it?
No, but your screen is.
No, okay. Oh, yes. Oh, that's a good
I mean,
point.
unless
Okay.
unless my colleagues and I are terribly, terribly wrong.
Huh. Okay. No, I think I set it up to show it to you. Yeah. For some reason, I'm not seeing it, but if you said 2023, that's right. There are interesting developments that happened this year, and we'll talk about them, but it's been around since 2023. Approximately how many custom GPTs are there in the store? And this is a rough estimate, of course. Ooh, well, more than that. If you said 3 million, that's what I found. 3 million plus in the GPT store, the OpenAI GPT store. And now I have a couple of platform questions focusing on just 4 of the big ones. In which platform is it free to set up a custom GPT? And this is to the best of my knowledge. So also, if you have corrections, those of you that are, more highly experienced, please. Okay. Yes, based on the latest information that I have, not OpenAI to set it up, but yes, Hugging Face and Poe, you will probably find restrictions as to how many messages and some of the capabilities, but you can set up a basic one on Hugging Face and Poe. And that's what we spend more time talking about in April, but I'm going to show you a quick demo of Poe today. In which platform can you use a conversational interface? So this means you don't need to configure it directly. You have a chat conversation to set up your bot or GPT. Yes, OpenAI and also Microsoft Copilot, not Hugging Face and Poe. And I think this is the last platform question. Which ones can you interact with voice commands? No, it's been a lot in the news. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Yeah. OpenAI. Actually, Microsoft Copilot, I'm not totally sure about, but we don't need to worry about it very much. Or I think I'm giving away the answer to the next one. Which one will be discontinued in July? Yeah, I totally gave that away. Okay, yes, Microsoft Copilot. That is the ability to build GPTs, not Microsoft Copilot in general. And there are a lot of theories and speculations as to why that is. It was a plus feature, maybe not enough people were using it. That's one theory that I've heard. Last trivia, which of these chatbot fails were in the news in the last few months? That is, things that a chatbot set up by a company or a government institution did. Did it do that? Yes or no? And are you guessing, or had you heard about some of these before? At least some of them.
I
Yeah.
I
heard
heard about the
one,
Chevrolet
but
for $1.
Yes.
I'd heard about the airline discounts.
Yes. So those are definitely yes. I think there was also a car one recommending a Tesla instead of the Chevrolet company that it was made for. Suggesting restaurants can serve food nibbled on by rats is a yes, that actually happened. I have links to these in the slides. Does anyone know where that occurred? It was a government chatbot. It's where I teach normally. So if I have any of my CUNY colleagues with me today, yes.
Yet another
Mhm.
indication that perhaps we need to review the contents of the chatbot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was New York City. Airlines, true. Swearing and criticizing delivery companies, true as well. Chevrolet, true as well. The last one is false. That is something that ChatGPT came up with. I asked it to come up with something fun for us and for the trivia. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Great. Well, thank you for playing. And going back to our slides for today, and I'll send you the link as well as our meeting. I thought, since many of you said you weren't so experienced with it, some of you said, I'll do a very quick demo of how to set one up, and then the rest of the time open discussion and tinkering. But yeah, let's keep it interactive, and please jump in at any point with your tips and questions. And I see by my estimate I'm a little behind on the schedule. So let me go right into. Real quick, well, what is a custom bot GPT? I think most of you know, but some clarification, and this is the way that OpenAI explains it. It means customizing any combination of these instructions, such as a personality, like getting it to act like Wonder Woman, knowledge base, if you upload some documents for reference, and capabilities, as well as actions. This is more advanced users, APIs, plugins. Some examples, if you go to, these are now available. This is the new development as of last month, that the GPTs are available to all users, not only Plus subscribers. And they even have a category of education. You might have seen many of the demos of the 4.0 release were educational. And these don't have the multimodal capabilities yet to that extent. But some of the sample use cases are tutor, these are just the most popular ones that show up on the list. Yes, yes. And I'm sharing some of mine there too. Some specific examples. There's many resources online. I like the way this one summarizes them, just 4 big ideas, so that it's not only student facing, it could be teacher facing, institution facing as well. So 4 big examples: course assistant for the teacher, assignment tutor for students, process coach for students, reflective guide probably for students as well. Now, one clarification is you can already customize ChatGPT if you've been using ChatGPT, right? You can give it initial prompts, and as long as you stay in the same conversation, it's going to remember that. If you're a Plus user, there's even now the memory feature that it can remember things about you across conversations if you set it up. And I have in the slide a link to that if you want to read more. Yes, totally. Yes. And it's also in the slides. Okay. So you can already customize ChatGPT. You can add a knowledge base and do these more advanced actions. But the key thing here and the way most of us talk about it is that with the custom bot GPT, you program it all like a package and you can share that link. You can share that link with others. And again, if you're working from OpenAI, now you can share it with anybody. They don't have to be a Plus subscriber. Of course, you can use the GPTs that are out there, but I think most of what we talk about in this group is how to create your own. And in OpenAI, there's 2 ways to create it. That is, you can chat, do the conversational chat, or you can configure it directly. So I will go ahead and show that right here. So when you are, this is the Plus account, and you can go to Explore GPTs. I'm already there, okay, and create. So the button on the top right. Create, again, it's a little redundant, but they are very different. So create on the left, if this were a couple months ago, the conversation would be much more about how to configure it and what are the best instructions. That is prompt engineering. But now there's this easier way to do it. But I agree, and I know Jeff wrote it in the chat. One of my tips too is don't rely on this like it's going to be really, really good. I was just setting one up the other day, and after a point, it wasn't really listening anymore. And even though it keeps asking you, can I fix it further? It just kind of wasn't listening anymore. So better to do it more directly. But I think we can do a quick sample just through the conversational feature, and let's do it together. So you tell me what's something we can make. A sample bot for us. And it can be for students, it can be for teachers. If you can tell me on the mic, even better, because I'm trying to multitask all these windows.
I like the idea of creating a bot that teaches us how to make a bot that can be used specifically in one area.
Okay, wow, super meta level. All right. So I like to create bot to help me or help create educational bots for specific purposes. Okay. Metabots, yes, and we got a name for it. Edubot Creator. I like our name better, Metabots, and we can tinker with that later. Well, I'll say here. Okay, name it Meta. How about Meta Edubot? Okay. It's a little slow with the pictures. Oh, John, yeah. Okay, that's even better. But okay, how about we just keep this for now? Medical. Is there anything that should be emphasized or avoided?
Emphasize higher education.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I think I cut somebody off.
Oh, it's great. I was just going to say that I almost always end up telling my bots to be less wordy, to like keep it short, and let me ask follow-up questions. Otherwise, you just get like it gives you so much.
There was a recent study by using just the word stay concise. It will still produce accurate results, but reduce the output by like 50 to 40%.
Okay. Oh, and it was also asking me formal, friendly, somewhere in between. Any preferences for that one?
I also added in the chat using evidence-based learning processes that make the user think deeply.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I know that. Yeah, now I feel like we need 2 hours to set up a really good VR project. Okay. Feels like it's extra slow today, but so as this says, it's updating, and you see the gear moving. What it's doing is it's filling out the configuration, which is something we would do manually if we wanted to make it more precise and be careful about it. This is where we would add the knowledge. Say we have a document on evidence-based learning that we're very fond of. We could upload it there as a reference base. Capabilities by default are turned on for web browsing, DAL-E, turned off for code interpreter, which is more if the user wants to analyze content, and the actions we're gonna stay away from that. And we can already test it out, create, and I can share it with all of you so you can test it out as we speak. So let's just say anyone with the link. There we go. So there it is. That is our bot so far.
Do we care about protecting the instruction set from anybody who wants to try to steal our instruction set?
Well, what do you all think? And if we wanted to protect it, yeah, what would we do?
I put the instructions in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Should we add that in? Yeah.
Huh. This is my first introduction to that. That's great to learn about.
Yeah, this is so this is like a type of guardrail.
I mean, in
I'm
this
gonna
case,
add it.
we're all
I'm
in this
gonna
case,
add
we're
it.
all doing this together, so it's clearly pretty open, but that's neat to know, Kyle.
So I'm going to update.
There's additional ones that you can add in that protect your knowledge base files too. I don't have one on hand though.
Okay. And as we go along, if you think of other links and things to share, we also have awesome. Oh, you're already doing it. Okay, you're awesome. Yes, we have space in the meeting notes right there. Now I do want to do a very quick workaround, and that is show you Poe and share with you. So I've been doing bots that my students create the bots, because I teach a course on education and I want them to have this experience of creating it themselves. And they didn't have ChatGPT Plus subscriptions, so I used a meta prompt that they would enter into a free ChatGPT account and then use it on Poe or Hugging Chat, because back then, well, still today, you can't create one unless you have a Plus account, so it's a real accessibility issue. But the workaround is you can do this prompt or something else that you find similar to it. This is one that I designed using some things I saw in OpenAI and other resources. And if you were to put this directly in your regular ChatGPT, then this simulates the builder, right? It's going to interact with you to generate the instructions for you. And after you have gathered the instructions, then you can use a free resource like, say, Poe to set it up. And here it's pretty similar, but yeah, there's no conversational interface. You give it a title. You can add a knowledge base, and instead of calling it instructions, they call it prompt. So this is where you would put your manual instructions. Tips. Here are 4 of mine, and we have awesome ones also in the document, and some of you started sharing. Yeah, I agree. Don't rely, if you're using OpenAI, on the GPT builder, maybe as a starting point, if you just want to see the way it sets up the instructions. I do think ChatGPT is better in my experience. Oh, but thank you for asking, because I forgot to show you the key part. If you are in Poe, by default, at least as of today, June 17th, it puts ChatGPT, the earlier model, but you can scroll down all the way to GPT 4.0 or GPT, no, not that one. Okay. And this is free. So that gives you the most advanced model on Poe. In my experience, I still think ChatGPT is better, but okay. Another tip, take advantage of what they call flipped interaction pattern. Remember, don't think of it as you asking questions. Think of it as asking you, the user, questions to gather information and help you. Just what we did with the custom builder for any bot. Ask it one question at a time, and we had a great tip. Ask it to be concise. Otherwise, it will probably just give you pages and pages of questions, and or even share the contents of your knowledge base. Think about guardrails. Say if it's a tutor for a student, things you don't want it to do. Now, I can't assure you that it's not going to do those things. And I'd love to talk about, yeah, how to make guardrails that are better, which is a big question for AI. And we have also many questions from the registration that came up, questions live. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and invite you all to an open discussion. Take it in any direction that you want. Yes. There again is our meeting notes. Thoughts, tips, questions? Yeah.
Not a tip or a question, actually. Just, yeah, I put those links in the document. That's just some articles I've run across since we last met about building bots, in case any of them are useful to anyone. Some are specific to certain disciplines like medical or composition, writing. So
thank you, Doug. Yeah. And can you put it in the collaborative document too?
Yeah, that's where I put it.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, and Doug was with us helping to moderate last time. Yeah, Emily?
Yeah, I have a question for the group, and that is, I'm working with some faculty who are wanting to create custom bots. I haven't officially had the meeting with them, but I get the sense they want to like upload their entire course content and to have the idea of making like a single bot for the class, which seems contrary to everything I've read and done on my own. So I'm wondering if anyone in the group has tried something like that with any success.
Yeah, I did something very recently, but it wasn't all of the content. It was my workbook. So I've got an activity guide, but it didn't have any dates in there. And so what I did was I uploaded the activity guide, and then I said, okay, we're building this course. Here's based on the activity guide, build the syllabus, and make sure that you include with every single week a active learning component and an AI component. And it did a really great job at just mirroring the workbook and spreading it out over the 16 weeks, and then finding activities that were related to the activities that were in the workbook, and it just built the structure of the course based on that. Didn't even have like a syllabus or any sort of prior weekly schedule, but it can do things like that very well.
All right, that's good to know. Thanks so much.
But maybe we should clarify, yeah, why the reservations, Emily? I'm guessing I know, but yeah, let's like what would be the concern of sharing all the course contents?
So really, it's not the concern, at least on my end, about the course content, to be honest. It's all of the bots that I've created have been very specifically task focused for a particular activity or exercise. So I just haven't experimented with any bots that might interact with all of the course content. And since I'm not really sure of I'm just trying to anticipate what I think their use case is. So I don't know. I just wanted to crowdsource the group, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad I asked because I was thinking something else. I was thinking people were worried about giving away their intellectual work to these platforms, and what is OpenAI going to do with it, and those kinds of concerns. Which
I have faculty that have that concern through and through, up and down, and absolutely don't even want to think about AI or chatbots for their class. So what do we have? Is there a group speak on how we respond to that?
Could I make a comment about Emily's question? Yeah, sorry. I've been experimenting with Hugging Chat, and one of the things I did just to emulate what you're talking about is it can access a shared Google Drive folder. You can specify that. So what I did was I dumped a whole mess of accessible PDFs in there. And these are not, these are already public PDFs. These are not something that's proprietary along those lines. And then in the prompt, I specify whatever it was, I specified to use that particular folder first, and then to list all the different references and in the order that they access them. So I tried that just to experiment with.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, in case you're looking for that, accessing course materials. I've seen a few individual universities develop custom AI tools to interact with their course materials, but not a general purpose solution. There was I don't know the right adjective to use, an example though of some students who developed a tool that connected to your Canvas course or courses, and it created study materials for your flashcards, and they got a $10,000 award for it, but then they got it taken away because they said it could be used for cheating. So that was kind of interesting. And unfortunately, none of these tools I've seen have shared any of their source code or anything, so they're kind of proprietary.
Yeah, my feeling is I don't know what do you all think, or if you've heard rumors about this. My feeling is that a lot of learning platforms are going to have chatbots soon, so that it will already have the option for students to oh, I want to learn more about this course, and for good and bad, right? And then we're still at a stage where we can create things, and maybe within a year or less, things are going to be thrown at students, or they already are, right? And with certain profit incentives behind them.
So
I think with an LMS, that's a good thing to think about, as long as there are controls by the faculty to specify exactly how they want to use that in their particular courses that are LMS.
Can I ask what might seem like a really elementary question? What is, okay, so I've been looking, like, I do a lot of stuff with AI. I'm totally cool with AI. I cannot for the life of me think of any reason why I want to create a bot. And the more I talk to people, the more I sit and I watch things, I see what cool other things people are doing, it still doesn't trigger anything in me. I'm sitting here going, I can't think of a single reason why I want to create a bot. So my question is, yes, Jeff, I would love to hear, like, what do I want to do? I teach English composition and technical writing and science writing.
I can, so my clearest, best use case that I've found so far is actually for me, not for my students. So,
Okay.
but let me say this. I use a teaching technique called just-in-time teaching, where I ask students questions that they're going to answer the night before class. And Canvas, which is the LMS that I use, just does not present their answers in the way that I want to digest their answers. I want to see all the answers to number 1 together, for example, and Canvas is just not great at that. In the past, I have exported something from Canvas and then put it into a spreadsheet, and I had a custom spreadsheet that would take that and make it blah, blah, blah. I made a custom bot where I could just drop in the export from Canvas, and then it will do things like tell me common themes, serve me 5 random responses from students so that I'm not always reading the same students over and over again. Like it'll just, anyways, it has given me a quick way to digest information from Canvas that serves my educational goal that I have spent literally years trying to figure out, and it worked in an afternoon.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing.
Kyle?
So at my institution, we just last semester did a 12 faculty member faculty learning community where the faculty needed to explore bringing AI into the classroom and having their students use it in some capacity. And some of the more interesting ones that I saw, especially maybe kind of in the writing field, were having it generate like a large collection of mediocre writings based on a topic that's in the course, and then having the students critique that writing. Another one we saw was having fictional conversations between philosophical figures, like different philosophers, and then having the students critique the output, basically like having it critique AI-based output, which I'm thinking future thinking about our students and like the type of work that they might end up doing involving AI. It seems very, very applicable that's a really good exercise to do, is critical thinking about the output that some of these AI things are producing, and then using that as a judgment call of what is good writing.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. I'll show just if this helps too. I have a couple examples there, and in this kit, if you scroll to the bottom, I have some that I did this semester with my students, and I thought of it now because one of them is the philosopher. But you might think, oh, that's already out there, Socrates philosopher. But this one is tailored to only talk about what we're reading that week. So that's the customized component, because I don't want them to be talking about all of Socrates, but just what we are studying. And then some of these have specific study guide questions, and it's a way to review the material for that week. But I know their hands, sorry, John?
Cassandra,
Yeah.
really quickly,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
tried to use your bot in ChatGPT, it won't let me.
Oh,
It says
which
that I
one?
have to,
The one?
it
one
says
we
I have
did-
to sign up to chat, and
The one-
it won't let me do it with the free version.
The one we did together today?
Yep, it will not let me in.
Were others able to use it?
Is anybody else using the free version? Because I don't have paid versions of anything.
The free version will allow you to access the custom GPTs.
Okay, it's not letting me.
Are you logged in?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing that you can do is, and I haven't had a lot of experience with this, but in your chat, you can the name of the custom GPT, and you should be able to access it that way.
Okay, because it
But
won't
I'll
even
let somebody
me
else that
in.
might have more experience with this, because I've never run into this issue.
Yeah, it's just saying sign up for chat, and when I do, it tells me that I have the free version, and it won't let me do anything. Like I can't even chat with it.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a geographical restriction.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on this, but when she created the bot, she made it accessible by link, but she didn't put it in the GPT store. So maybe that's related to it. Maybe it has to be in the store for free people to see it. I don't know.
Oh,
And
yeah, I don't
Emily
think so.
suggested clearing your cache, which is a really
Okay.
good idea. You know, the ID version of turn it off and turn it back on again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do one just sharing it with a link a few days ago, and people were able to do it.
And
Okay.
Laura, I do not have paid version, and I'm able to interact with the MetaBot we just created. So
Fascinating. Yeah, it's not letting me in. Refreshing won't do anything. Searching for it isn't doing anything.
Well, this
Are
is
you
important
using-
because, yeah,
Are
sorry.
are you using your institutional email address for the account?
Yes,
Blocked, or maybe might want to try with a private account, a
I
personal account.
don't. I have always just used my free account for ChatGPT and never had a problem.
I meant not tied to institutional, but a non-institutional email address, another
Yeah,
account.
no, I mean, I've always just used the one through my university and I've never had a problem until right now. So maybe it's on my end. I'll just keep playing with it. Thank you.
But this makes me think, what if this happens with a student, right? Or with a colleague that you're trying to help? This is a real possibility for whatever reason it's happening. John?
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Cassandra. So I have the same question as Laura, right? And I think it's partially being answered so far through Kyle and Cassandra. I am a believer in assessments, exercises that serve a purpose. But when I hear the word chatbot, generally what I think of is someone's trying to kind of dump information into it and let students or users ask it questions, general questions. And to me, I'm also wary or unsure of what the benefit of that interaction is. And someone else, I'm sorry, I forget the name, Doug maybe, was saying that they build chatbots for themselves so that they can kind of ask questions. And really, I think that the benefit there is that when you ask a chatbot that has a bunch of information, you can kind of get it to talk in a language that you want to talk in. So I can see that being a benefit for students. Like if I put information into a chatbot, and I don't want that chatbot to make up information, that's hallucination. I want it to just use the information that I give it. Well, what's the benefit then of, just having the textbook, having the course? And I think the benefit is that a student can kind of ask the chatbot in its own language. But to get to the point of what I'm saying, I'm curious if people, because I'm not an educator per se. I build courses, but I don't teach students. I'm curious if people have had experiences where either students do use it for that purpose, kind of talk to a chatbot in their own language, or whether they have the opposite, where they built a chatbot and they expect it to be used a certain way, and the use from students and users kind of goes off the rails, and at that point it's not very effective. And we don't have to answer it. Those are the kind of stories that I'm really interested in hearing right now.
There are a few students on this call, so I'm hoping they'll chime in.
Yeah, I wonder if students really like them, and they're like, oh, faculty says, hey, I've got a chatbot for this course. I wonder if that's appreciated or not.
Yeah, have any of you used it as a student? I'd love to hear. Yeah, your teacher used it. And I also see hand up CETL. I don't know your name, but it says CETL. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's our center. We're in a room here. So I'm Mark. I'll introduce myself with Carl. And so in terms of different uses, not the examples of that you were looking for, unfortunately, John. But I was thinking when I was teaching writing, it was really hard to get students to write a really good conclusion or introduction, right? And so one reason for doing a bot is you can train it on lots of different conclusions and ask different questions. That's one possibility. The other is making sure it doesn't give answers, right? So two uses of AI, because we help faculty learn how to create bots. And two of the things they've really liked is, one, AI is a mentor, and I'm sure you've all seen those prompts out there by Malik. So using it as a mentor, but then having it be the student. The AI is the student, and the student has to provide the answers. So the student has to teach the AI, right? That flips a lot of things and also gets rid of the idea that AI could provide misinformation and hallucinations, because the student is the one that's supposed to be providing the good information. But you can do that, and we've done that before, even with our medical school. You can set up the bot so that it's acting like a patient. We've done that, and it's been effective. And then say, what should I have done, right? And then have it come back with the tests you should have asked for and things like that. So those are different ways to think about the bot. But I'm answering the questions, but then I have a question, because as soon as we start working with faculty on creating these bots, We'll have one that says, oh, I want to upload the textbook. Can I upload the textbook? And I know that's a hard no. But then they're like, what about open educational resources? Right? Can I upload an open educational resource? And then I'm looking at the different open educational resources and what their, copyleft or type of copyright that they have in there, where it says you can create and change and make copies so long as you make that freely available. So I'm kind of curious what this group would say about uploading open educational resources, not ones that you've written. I guess the flip side of that we started to talk about is students taking your course material and uploading it and how you feel about that. But those are questions that I have when it comes to bots.
I was just at a educational conference where we were working on assessment of like CEDL programs, and the base documentation, the base like research article had a Creative Commons that had a non-remix. And so I think I talked with the author of that paper about that clause, because removing that non-remix clause, then I could publish a chat GPT based on the training materials of that article on how to assess a CEDL program, and then share that with everybody that was at that conference, so that we would all have the ability to work through the materials in a chatbot environment. So I think absolutely, if an open educational resource has a Creative Commons license that allows for remixing, have at it. In fact, we should be doing it as much as we can.
But if it asks for attribution, how do we do that? Well, maybe we can add it in the description. Does that sound?
We could do that in our custom one that we've been building together right now, right? You just say in every single interaction, preface it with the following statement.
Okay. So we could add it to the instructions. We could, what if we added it here too? I did put it in the store now, just in case that helps Laura. We should attribute ourselves, right? How about this EduBot was developed? Well, I don't know. Do we want to do that?
There you go, right there. That to me satisfies attribution.
Okay. So that could be one way to do it. And I guess you could also put a link to the OER if it is an OER. And now if you reload it, it should show that. Other ideas?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is just putting a link back to the original source, because that clearly indicates that you're not stealing anything, you're using with attribution.
Mm-hmm.
So my copyright brain says that that's good. That's a good thing.
And the way the conversation is going too, I also wonder if for our next meeting, it could be good to really do full on demos of EduBots. And along those lines, I set up a new spreadsheet. So if you've been with us before, this is new for everybody, where I ask a couple things, sharing about yourself and your email. And first, if you're interested in being a subgroup email list, say to get an extra reminder or two about the meeting and when it's in the organizing stage. I hope we'll have another one in July. But also, are you interested? Doesn't have to be me, it could be collaborative indeed. Are you interested in moderating or presenting, like just a short presentation? Don't even need to call it presentation. Just sharing with us what is a bot that you created, because I hear that that's what a lot of you wanna do, right? To see it in action. Please let me know in the spreadsheet. And I also prepared an exit ticket, which is not to throw you out, but I'm looking at the time and I know some of you have to go. So I'm going ahead and sending you a link to that exit ticket. Announcements as well from AI and Ed Group. I know we have other subgroups too. Emily's here, and Emily runs the AI and educational instructional design group. Emily, do you have any announcements or something
I
upcoming?
don't no, I can't think of any right now. I'll be sending out some things in a few days.
Okay, great. And I'm learning about subgroups through Emily. We had a joint meeting last month as well. Please share with me tips, feedback in the exit ticket as well. If you have suggestions for future meetings as well. I don't have to go. I can stay here, but I know some of you have to go. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your ideas and questions. All the documents will stay open, of course, to keep sharing your tips. Sorry, I lost sight of the chat. I'll look through a bit as well. Thank you.
Well, if I could do a quick plug before others leave, I noticed Tim
Yeah.
Dacey's here. If you haven't seen Tim Dacey's work, he has a book and Wisdom Factories, and he posts some really insightful stuff on LinkedIn. So thanks for joining us, Tim.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. A lot of you, I know the names and I've interacted with online, so it's usually quite pleasant interactions, actually. So.
Right. Any other share outs, events, things that you know are going on, upcoming?
I'll be
Please
speaking
share.
at InstructureCon, so anybody that's going to that Canvas-based convention, I'll be speaking at InstructureCon next month on AI and teaching centers.
Thank you, Kyle. You have a link for that too?
Nothing's public yet.
Okay. Yeah. Recording.